You're such an asshole.
Hey everybody, the old captain here, and we are back at the HQ after traipsing all over Colorado, and now it's time to get the work done, get cracking. If you have a question about anything that I can legally consult you on, which is most things aside from law and giving you specific investment recommendations, you can go to assholeconsulting.com, where we are the only company that specializes in truth. Everybody else sells you lies. I tell you the truth, and I have a monopoly on it because everybody else has too much of a pussy to go and tell people the truth. Hi Aaron, I just paid for this request video whenever you have time to do it. Independent contractor industry. I came across an online article in Business Insider that said something like 40% of workers will be contractors by 2020. Can you please address this subject? It not only applies to millennials, but Gen Xers like myself and probably baby boomers, because by then their savings will be gone and their Social Security won't be keeping up with their lifestyle demands. Oh, it is great seeing the baby boomers, especially. And they're in full retirement, and I see it every day. They're like, I don't have enough to retire. Because you were listening to Come On Baby, Light My Fire. Was that fun, huh? Was the 60s fun, doing jack shit with your life? Huh? Avoiding the Vietnam War and not doing anything and smoking pot? Oh, you're paying for it now. And they got to work till they're dead. Oh, it's great. That is great. All right, anyway, enough Simon on the boomers. In particular, will industries across the board be using contractors? Yeah, and that's already happening now. Let's explain the general overall macroeconomic thing that's happening with contractors. In the olden days, when the United States was pretty much the only game in town because the world bombed the hell out of itself, we had it where we could run regular 8-hour shifts with 3 shifts a day, 24/7, and you had this nirvana, this utopia, because there was so much demand for our goods because we're the only ones producing goods. Now, of course, that's changed over time. But you can say, look, unemployment was like in the 3%. So labor had to say, hey, look, we're going to have compensation, we're going to have pensions, we're going to have training. You're going to give us gin. Fuck this. Oh, we need a doctorate to go start an entry-level job. So the work was there. We could parcel it out into units of shifts, a 40-hour work week, and that was fine. Now, in part because foreign countries got back online, there's foreign competition, foreign demand, but also because the economy has changed and it's gotten faster with things like just-in-time inventory management, the internet. It is a much faster and more rapidly adapting economy. On top of it, companies just want to save as much money as possible. They don't really care about employee loyalty. They're not loyal to their employees. And if they can outsource it to a contractor, they will. And it's because contractors are so much cheaper. You don't have to pay for their health insurance. You don't have to pay them for training. Maybe you will, but for most contractors, they're a specialist of some kind, so the training is not necessary. You have to do their 401ks, their retirement, all this. So all this overhead that goes into employees, you don't have that with contractors. The other thing, and this addresses what I said before about the economy changing, going faster, is that contractors are scalable. Like if demand for your product goes up, you hire a bunch of contractors. If demand for your product goes down, you get rid of your contractors. Employees are not like that. You got to pay severance. They join a union. All this other shit. They're very sticky. And so salary employees are not scalable to the demand for your product or service, whereas contractors are. So they're much more flexible and nimble, which means you can keep your variable costs down, tailoring the amount of labor you have to the amount of demand. So you can see, and then on top of it, here's another reason why contractors, all this fucking leftist liberal, we got to attach labor law, oh, fuck you. And I would never hire an employee. I got to now set up payroll. I got to do fuda suda wuda kuda. I got to pay their Social Security, pay their payroll taxes, unemployment. Fuck that bullshit. I'd be doing contractors all the way. 1099 them. There it is. We're done with that shit. So there is both a financial and a headache incentive, overhead incentive, to just go with contractors. So you will see a perpetual movement towards contractors. And now there's there's pros and cons to being a contractor. People go, well, it sucks. I know a contractor, you get to write off a ton of shit you normally wouldn't have done. You can work multiple places. I prefer being a contractor than an employee because basically it's an equal. Like if you're an employee and as your employer, it's like you're their bitch. With a contractor, especially if you're a highly skilled one, it's like, no, you're a hired gun. You're like Clint Eastwood when you go into, what was it, A Fistful of Dollars, and he plays the Rojos against the other McAllisters or something like that. He plays the two family mafia people off of themselves, and he keeps getting higher and higher pay because he's the best gunslinger. So there's an element, and I really like that when I go in as a contractor. I mean, and more recently, I haven't done a contract in a bit, but when I got back from Wyoming, I had a contract. I was very clear. I had a retainer and everything. I went right to the, quote, boss. I said, look, I'm a contractor. I'm not your employee, all right? I will do your job, and but this, like, oh, I kissed the ring and all that other bullshit, that ain't going to fly. I'm here to do this job, and then I get paid, to quote Malcolm Reynolds. And it worked well, and we bid each other farewell, and I did my service. So, and then also you can write off things as a contractor, your mileage, your gas, other expenses as well. But you don't get a 401k, you don't get health insurance, you don't get all that other crap. Especially for young, in shape, healthy people. Yeah, you want to. That's the other thing about working as an employee. Especially if you're young, you're basically subsidizing the old and the unhealthy employees at that firm. I've gone into companies before. The last place I worked in Wyoming, I said, I don't want you give me my money that you would pay for me for insurance otherwise, and I'll go get mine in the private sector. No, you have to. It's like, you fucking, I look at all the fat fucking slobs that are working at the bank. I'm like, that's where my fucking money is. I don't need for them to say, well, we'll pay you for health insurance. Like, you're paying me $800 a month? I've never used $800 a month in my life. But that fat fuck over there probably has with his 3 bypass surgeries. So, it's not the worst thing. That we're moving to a contract, and I think with the independent mindedness of the millennials and the Gen Xers, it actually is a good thing because you can have because of the flexibility. Let's just say. Now, what we have to worry about is that this is a movement. What is generally determining this movement from salaried employees to independent contractors to the next stage. What's moving that is costs. Companies want to get rid of costs. They want to get rid of fat. They want to get rid of labor they don't need. And so they're moving to the contractors. But what is going to happen after contractors is robots. And again, this is already happening. We are automating, the General Motors, the auto industry has, wherever it's been cost effective, they've replaced humans with robots. And it makes absolutely 100% perfect sense because robots don't break down. They don't need maternity leave. They don't, I feel sick, I'm going to go home. They don't give you lip. You don't have to pay them Social Security and all that other crap. They're robots. They're great. They're the greatest workers ever. So that is what we're going to have to worry about going down the road, which is a whole different topic. But that is inevitably where this train is going to get off, and that is robots. Now, you always have demand for human labor to tell the robots what to do, but that's where this is going. So whereas the baby boomers, their panic is, oh my God, independent contracting, who's going to pay for my Medicare and my health care and this and that, I'm an old worthless fuck. That's their worry right now because contractors don't have insurance. What millennials and Gen Xers get to worry about is robots. And I will be writing a book down the road about that, actually. So that's going to be a fun one. Will this work likely involve niche specialties or particular skill? What exactly are they likely to contract out first? It's not a skill or a specialty they're going to contract out. That is not the determining variable. The determining variable is it cost effective? Will we save money? Will they outsource specialties and skills? Yeah, they will. Absolutely. I got a buddy, computer networker. They only call him when the network goes down. And he's got multiple clients. What else? I've been contracted out for projects, can you program this model for us? Okay, yeah, I could go ahead and program that model. Even my ballroom dancing, you could say, oh, hey, would you teach us? Sure. So there's no rhyme and reason. Now, if you want to study the industry and find out, okay, what's much more likely to be outsourced, you got to keep your fingers on the pulse of an industry to see what's going to happen. But, for example, you'd have to know, okay, drone technology, that came in and threw a curveball. Now we could have drones delivering Amazon packages, and that would throw chaos into FedEx and DHL and all those guys. So yeah, it's not which one's going to be contracted out first. The ones that are going to be contracted out first are the ones costing the company the most amount of fucking money. How can we best monitor this development and get ahead of the masses so that we can get the work before it's even advertised? You got to be on top of the industry that you're interested in working in to find out where it's going to go. I can't tell you because it's going to vary from industry to industry. However, I do know the IT world is that's a perfect example where you got to read publications, you got to stay on top of it, you got to find out what it is. 10 years ago was all your network certifications. Now it's programming in like Python, or what was the other one? Red something? I forgot. I was listening to Eli the computer guy. Who's actually, if you want to learn about IT, go to Eli the computer guy. But it's amazing how that edge of the economy is evolving and developing so quickly that you have to spend, part of your job is to stay on top of what the developments in the industry are if you wish to stay on that high income earning curve. So that's where, so how do you monitor it? Yeah, you gotta study. You gotta pay attention. You gotta read industry periodicals and journals, and then that way you'll know, oh, okay, this is what's good. And even then, you say, oh, yep, here it is, Python. Something else comes out and wipes it out, and it changes the dynamics of the industry. So there's that. By the way, taxes are a major issue. All of us who are interested should know the tax liability in our state before diving into contract work. I think Oregon, the tax liability is 30 to 40% for independent contractors. Yeah, because you got to pay the other half of your Social Security. You pay it anyway. I mean, these people say, well, we're going to pay half of your Social Security. It's like, dude, you're paying that for my compensation anyway. So that would have been money that would have gone to you instead of the lazy baby boomer fucks. When I did this in Manhattan in the 90s, I believe my tax liability was close to 50%. Yeah, you don't work in Manhattan. In any case, the company reports your Social Security number, and if people don't set aside their taxes, they collect the tax liability. Yeah, you got to pay your quarterly taxes. No fucking shit. I mean, if you're an independent contractor, you're not paying quarterly taxes. Oh, fuck, I'm not paying too. Oh, my God, this is great. And I've had, like, two buddies of mine, like, yeah, I'm not like, this is great. I don't know why I did it before. And then, like, they do their taxes, like, fuck, I didn't know. Oh, shit, Clary, how do I come up with money? I'm like, well, and one was a leftist. I'm like, well, you leftist dipshit. Fuck you. That's what your taxes are. And no, I'm not going to help you. He didn't like it, though. I wasn't going to help him. But I never help leftists. Thanks. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's where the contractor industry is going. But it's just money. It's all money. It's just to save money. And if they can scale it and tailor it to their demand for their products, they're going to do that. So anyway, I hope that helps out. Toodles.